Welcome to Sales Whiteboard Workout, where we talk about sales topics to empower you to win the sales game. I'm your host, Julian Redding, and would like to thank you for sharing your time with me today. Now, years ago, we used to say that people bought off people they liked. Now, more than ever, this is not true. People buy off people they trust. On the flip side, I actually do think it's important to have the likability factor. I definitely believe people don't buy off people they don't like. We're going to talk today about the science of trust, because we talk a lot about trust. But what is trust? Why do we instantly mistrust some people? What causes us to trust? If you haven't seen my Science of Storytelling video, but jump in to that after this, because it's going to give you more insights into some of the things I'm going to talk about. But trust, the answer is all held in a small part of the brain called the limbic system. In the limbic system is something called the amygdala. Now, the amygdala is the place that processes all of our emotions, our trust emotions, our fear emotions, our anxiety. Our life journey integrates itself into our subconscious, constantly stored in our hippocampus, also in the limbic system. Our amygdala processes and regulates all of our snap decisions. The actions we take are not rational, but based on our primal fight or flight response. So trust is an actual thing. And there's lots more people far more intelligent than me that can explain this in more detail. But knowing this can help us connect with our prospects. So let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever watched a film twice in your life? If the answer is yes, and it is for most people, why do you think we do that? Well, the answer is simple. We know the way it makes us feel. We trust it as we know how we will feel at the end of it. Why do you think Hollywood makes so many prequels, sequels and remakes? They absolutely know their audience. So with that, when selling to a client, the best way to make them trust is to replay how they feel good about things. I always talk about connecting with the inner mind, as this is a strategy I've used for years. I always focus early in the sales cycle about finding out what my customer viewed as success. What was the last project they worked on? What did good look like to them? And I will listen for their language. I did this so I could replay and reframe my solution based on their perception of value. I'm making the sequel to fire off those mirror neurons. This is incredibly powerful and builds familiarity with your prospect's subconscious and associates them with what they know. So now we know this, how do we optimize our response? Well, the language we use is our next powerful weapon, trust-based language. This is what we're going to use to connect people to our messaging. There are certain phrases that work and certain phrases that don't work, and I want to give you a flavor here. First of all, remove the word follow-up from your vocabulary. It's only us in sales that uses the word follow up. Instead, replace with this. What do you think the next step should be? This is such powerful trust-based question. Powerful trust-based question, sorry. You're giving power to a prospect they now own. And they now set the next actions. This is the most powerful form of advancement because they own it, especially early on in the sales cycle. You have removed something I call sales pressure from the conversation. As all of the pressure has gone out of the conversation, you're now agreeing and executing against your customers' next steps. Now we're going deep. We're going deeper into the conversation. Sales for me has never ever been a numbers game. It's quality rather than quantity. Are you a fit? Can I sell to you? It's still one of the most overlooked skills, because here's the thing. Clients will lie to you if they don't trust you. It's become almost acceptable to lie to salespeople, and we're the top of their list. Who they lie to. You'll typically be lied to if you lead with feature and function, because with that we know, just leading with feature function with numbers, they won't trust you because you're not connecting. Rejection is a trigger reaction. These are the things we do to put our customers' guards up, leading with facts and figures. So here are some immediate things I want you to target. Take the pressure off. Use, what do you think the next steps should be? You can have a great call, and the instinct is of us sales guys to move things forward. But closing like a traditional salesperson, which are now triggers for buyers, you are perceived as different to other salespeople. Let me put another thought in your head. It's not what you're selling, it's how you sell it. I want you to embrace this trust-based languaging, because you are breaking their pattern of what they think or what they expect will happen next. The next one I want you to think about is the tone you use. This is once again a trigger, our tone, what tone we are giving a message in. Did you notice when I talked about the next steps question, I paused, I spoke a little slower, I dropped my tone. I hear when so many salespeople close, they speed up. Look out for an upcoming podcast on tonality, but they speed up. Target getting to the end of the conversation with the question in mind. What do you think the next steps should be? This is really powerful trust-based languaging. And now, whilst this has probably been a lot to take in, the thing I wanted you to take from this and remember is that trust is a thing. Trust is a thing that we instill in people. We have to understand their perception of value. So remember the questions. Ask them about what good looks like, what the last successful project was that they worked on, and listen for the language. You're going to listen to it because you're just going to replay. And when you replay and reframe your solution based on what they have told you is successful, you're creating the sequel. They trust you because they can identify with that feeling. And remember about empowerment. Remember about them taking the next steps. Remember not to follow up. Hopefully that one stuck with you. But we create trust. We create trust in our clients through numerous ways. Obviously, what I've talked about earlier, the social brand, keeping up to date with all of the latest things that's happening with a customer and their company, and talking their language. All these things drive trust. It's such an important element. So with your next meeting, think about trust. Think about how you're going to access that inner mind. Think about how you're going to understand your customer's perception of value. Use the what did good look like? What was the last successful project? Listen for the language and shape your responses based on that. I hope you've enjoyed this quick insight into trust. It's something that I love talking about, and I'm going to be doing more of this in future podcasts. For now, thank you so much for listening to me, and good luck selling.